Welcome back to the Booth Customs YouTube channel. It's me, John Mark, and Austin, aka the Goon Prepper. And in this video, we're going to talk about get home bags, why you need one. And this is sort of a prequel to our next video, which is a little more lengthy and girthy than this one. So
you're not used to taking in that much content
from us,
but we're gonna give it to you.
Today's the day. So, get home bags. Why do I need one?
So, just a little bit of preface. We both live a little distance away from work.
Some of us further than others.
Some of us further than others. And if something were to go wrong, at worst, invasion. But let's just go full send.
Red Dawn.
Red Dawn. Or, natural disaster. Honestly, that's probably a lot more likely than anything else. Or election riots, which is actually probably just as likely as a natural disaster.
Yeah.
Because it is 2024. Anyway. So that's kind of the setting. Like, have an idea of why do you need a get home bag. For us, it's hoofing it home if need be. Was like how long for you?
It's 3 or 4 miles, so it's not a very long walk. There are some hills and dales, but
Birmingham.
Yeah, Birmingham. At most, 2 to 3 hours, depending on the situation. I would think not that long if everything's hunky dory. But if everything's hunky dory, I shouldn't be having to walk home.
Right. Right. Yeah. And for me, it's about 31 miles to get home from work. And if everything was hunky dory, it'd be like a day and a half. And if I'm walking home, it's not hunky dory, so it'd probably be like 2 to 3 days.
Right.
So yeah, that's a long walk for me.
This is a consideration for not if your car breaks down and your wife is mad at you and she won't come pick you up and you can't Uber. This is for like disaster situations.
Yeah. Yep. And then background, we've both been in situations that are a little bit uncomfortable. Both, neither one of us are military. But like, for instance, I grew up in the mountains. I grew up in Montana, backpacking, hiking all the time. Lots of different weather conditions too. One of my favorite backpack trips, my first backpack trip, we were hiking up in the Tetons and it rained on us the entire first day. So when we made camp, it was below freezing and we were wet. Our gear was wet. And the first time I ever got frostbite. Hurts like hell. So, a lot of experience of being out in uncomfortable conditions and finding ways to make do, and backpacking, hiking experience just kind of goes along with that.
Yeah, and for my part, I did lots of sort of mission work stuff in Central and South America whenever I was growing up. So a lot of that involved hiking in the mountains of Honduras, and then we did some stuff in Venezuela before they shut Venezuela down. 2 missionaries, which included, pretty good amount of like backpacking type stuff. And I have been snowed in on the interstate with the interstate shut down and no cars moving. And you never know what you're going to need in that situation until you're there. But luckily, I had what I needed. His situation is different from my situation. I don't need quite as much in my get home bag as he needs in his get home bag. But let's talk about the bags themselves for a second and why you chose this one.
Yep.
And what you want personally in a get home bag.
So the assumption with a get home bag is you kind of want to be left alone, and the temptation is to get a Molly tactical backpack, all the fit and finish, tons of Velcro panels on the outside. You look super tactical.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna mess with me because multicam. Don't do that, you'll die.
Yeah, because people see that and they're like, he's got something I might need.
Exactly. You get yourself a backpack that doesn't look like anything in particular.
This could be easily be a college student's backpack.
Right. Right. So you get something low vis, a neutral color. If you really want to, go the extra mile, then maybe, get OD green. I would stay away from Coyote or FDE just because that does kind of have that catches eyes. People can have green backpacks all the time. FDE does catch the eye.
Yeah.
But so for me, black, and I've got a poncho in here that I can throw over if I do actually need to be concealed and blend in. So, get a pack cover that you like. But so something real bland looking. This is the Vertex Ready Pack 2. It's got a decent amount of space in it, enough for what I need. It's very, very comfortable. That's another thing. Make sure you get a comfortable pack. This thing, it's about 20-25 pounds without water in it, and it feels like I've got
the straps feel nice.
It's like having air.
Yeah.
So getting a good backpack is important. Getting one that doesn't draw eyes is also really, really important.
Right. Which is
you don't want to be a loot drop.
No. And one of the things I like about this is the GR1. So the first backpack that GoRuck came out with. Now it does have more MOLLE panels on the outside. That's, first of all, it's not super noticeable if you're just walking along. Most people are not that observant. And it's black against black. There's also more backpacks now that have MOLLE type systems on them than before.
Just make sure your backpack's not covered in it.
Right, yeah,
I'm trying to look like a Marine, but in black.
Marine, just black. But it looks, for all intents and purposes, like it could be just a commuter backpack. I do have an American flag patch on there. However, if I wanted to be less conspicuous, I could take that off and it's just a black Velcro patch, and I could stick a nondescript
Jansport. Actually,
yeah.
Get the logo and slap on some Velcro.
Right. It wouldn't be that hard to conceal that if I wanted to. And it's also light. It's backed by GoRuck's lifetime guarantee, so they'll if something happens to it, they just repair it. So that's pretty cool. Again, we're not sponsored by GoRuck, but we could be.
Or Vertex.
But if anybody wanted to sponsor us, that's fine. But yeah, and it's light, it's compact. This is the 21 liter version. They do have a 26 that's just a little bit taller. However, I was going for inconspicuous, and this is built for rucking. It's got a pouch in there for their ruck plate, or you can put bricks in there or whatever you wanted. So it's really heavy duty. And it also has a place for your laptop too, which is great for me because it also, like I said, or maybe it was at the other video.
Yeah.
But it doubles as my everyday carry pack, which is perfect for me because I've not got a long way to go. All I have to do is get 3 or 4 miles back to the house and I'm golden.
Yep.
Unlike this guy.
Yeah, I'm a glutton for punishment.
But that also, and that's something we'll talk about in another video, but you don't need to have more than you need. You need to have what you need, but not more than you need, because going light and fast to get home, because if there is a disaster that's causing me to have to hoof it from work back here, I want to get back to my wife and family as quickly as I can to make sure that they're safe. Chances are cell phone towers are down, can't get a signal, whatever. So I'm going to be wanting to make sure that they're squared away as soon as possible. And of course, my wife is very capable of taking care of herself. However, I want to make sure. So light and fast is the name of the game. I don't need a 72-hour rucksack on my back trying to get back to the house. Yep. If there was a need for mass evacuations because of some reason or another, then yeah, sure, I need to have that stuff available leaving the house if I had to. We don't advocate for like leaving your house, but if you had to, you need to have the things ready and available to take for that purpose.
Right. And that's when like a rucksack might actually come in handy. But yeah, unless you absolutely have to, don't leave your house. You know, the bug out bag phase was a real cool industry, a real cool period in the gun community and gun industry. And I understand, you know, the mountains are calling and I must go, but you die.
Yeah.
You know, that
faster.
You die really fast. You might live a little bit longer if you're in a place like Alabama, but you're still going to die. So stay home. You'll live a lot longer. You have a lot more resources.
For sure.
Yeah. And you die of exposure real quick. So if you can avoid, like the danger staying in your house has to be really great for you to justify leaving. The exception is some of those, you know, real sketchy guys who are able to actually live out in the bush. But you add a family to that, and it's over. You know, you're not going to be able to carry enough stuff to take care of yourself and your spouse, much less yourself, your spouse, and your kids.
Yeah.
You're just not. So the need has to be dire for you to leave the house. But to get to the house, it requires a lot less work.
Right. Yeah. Going from point A to point B is a lot less ambiguous than going from point A to God knows where, hoping you'll make it, hoping you'll find food, water, shelter. Because even if the power's out, your house is going to keep out the elements, and you're going to be able to, in some way, create warmth, stay dry. It's more defensible if for some reason there was looting and rioting going on, which, in our area we don't particularly see much of that. There, was a few instances a few years back in the downtown area, but it didn't spread out. That was downtown. It's not likely to get that out of hand.
Right.
But if it did, it's your home's more defensible, and again, all your self-defense items are at your house, besides what you carry on you for your personal self-defense. If you're trying to get out in the woods and there's we're talking real shit hits the fan,
right? You're looking at building a cabin out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, you're looking at building a cabin in the middle of nowhere, hoping you can defend that. You don't know the terrain as well. It's a whole thing. So
few people are that level of skilled and prepared.
Right.
Very, very few.
We would all like to be.
Right.
And even if Austin or I, which you, with your Montana experience, probably more so than me, but even if we were able to make it by ourselves, again, children are an extreme liability out in the woods if you're trying to survive and not just go into a nice little campsite and whatever. Right. So, get home.
Get home. And get a bag to get home. That suits your needs.
Yeah.
If you walk 3 miles to get home, you don't need this bag. And come back next week to figure out why you don't need that bag.
Right. And
if you walk 31 miles,
you don't need this bag. Right. And same thing. Check us out next week.
Yeah, we'll be back next week with a long video.
Yeah,
but
get your popcorn.
Info. Get your popcorn, pour up some whiskey. You're going to need it.
You're going to need it. So, all right. Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week on the channel. Happy shooting.